All right, we could soon know if Camelot actually existed.
Arthur's Stone, a 5,000-year-old chambered tomb in Britain, is being excavated. It's named in honor of King Arthur.
For years, people looked for King Arthur. They searched graves and old castles but found nothing. Stories say he didn't die. He sleeps under the hills, waiting to come back when Britain needs him. Many thought it was just a tale, but now, in dark caves in Herefordshire, experts found something big.
How many phases are you finding then? What's the sequence of events here?
The sequence seems to be we've got our turf mound, which is then cut by this series of post holes. Then we must have the big stone mound.
Burnt bones, strange marks, and a hidden tomb. Could this be the answer to the mystery? Come with us as we explore where stories and truth meet. The legend that lives on. The name King Arthur makes us think of a magical world. A world of brave knights and a shining sword called Excalibur. For years, stories have told of a place called Avalon. Some say Arthur was taken there after being hurt in battle. The dream is that he isn't really gone. He's just sleeping, waiting to return when Britain needs him most. These tales didn't come from nowhere. They grew from old books. One book, written in the 1100s, is Geoffrey of Monmouth's History of the Kings of Britain. Geoffrey wrote about Arthur's battles and his trip to Avalon. Avalon is a misty, magical island. This story made Arthur a legend, a great leader who brought Britain together. Over time, poems, songs, and spoken tales spread across Europe. They made Arthur a hero in everyone's hearts. But there's another story. Some say Arthur isn't on an island. He's underground. This is the cave legend. It says Arthur and his knights are hidden in caves. They wait for the right time to return. Many villages in Britain say their local caves are Arthur's resting place. These caves are said to open only on special nights. They reveal sleeping knights. But if someone makes a mistake or says the wrong word, the cave closes. The chance to see Arthur is lost forever. In Herefordshire, there are caves named after Arthur. Locals believe a hidden entrance leads to a deeper chamber. They say blowing a horn or lighting a torch the wrong way might wake Arthur's knights. This could start a dangerous wild hunt. Now, in 2025, scientists are starting to take these stories seriously. They've found old bones, rock art, and strange clues in caves in Herefordshire. One cave has made global news. It holds remains from the 5th or 6th century. This is the time when Arthur might have lived. If these bones belong to a strong leader from that time, could it be Arthur himself? It sounds hard to believe, but the evidence is growing. To understand why this cave is so important, we need to look back at centuries of mysteries, lies, and clues about Britain's greatest legend, the search for King Arthur's final resting place. To see why this cave matters, we must first explore centuries of unanswered questions. Legend or hoax? In 1190, something amazing happened at Glastonbury Abbey. Monks found a coffin with two skeletons. One was very big, and the other was smaller. They said it was King Arthur and Queen Guinevere. A lead cross nearby said, "Here lies King Arthur in Avalon." People were shocked. Gerald of Wales wrote about the huge bones. They were said to be 9 feet tall. The monks buried them again with great care. Pilgrims came to see the site, and the abbey got lots of money. It was like a medieval viral story, but some people doubted it. The abbey had burned in 1184 and needed help. Was this a trick to get pilgrims? The cross seemed too close to the top, like it was put there on purpose. Some defended the find, but today many think it was a smart plan. Was it a lie or real history? Maybe the bones were from a Celtic leader, not Arthur. Calling him Arthur could have been a way to get attention. Was this medieval crowdfunding or proof of a real legend? Recently, experts say the skeleton might be a Celtic king, not Arthur. The oak coffin hints at Celtic ways, but the cross suggests a clever plan. Glastonbury's story is a mix of truth and tricks. In 2024, new studies added more mystery. Some think the bones were from a local king, not Arthur. It's like old tales of giants that turn out to be just tall people. The truth is still unclear. Glastonbury's perfect Arthur may be a myth, but science keeps looking for answers, taking us beyond the Abbey and into Britain's ancient past. Caves, quarries, and the inspiration behind a lion witch. By the River Wye lies King Arthur's Cave. It has seen over 12,000 years of life, people, and animals. Digs in the 1800s and 1900s found old tools, mammoth bones, and signs of Stone Age families. They may have lived here for a time, but this cave is more than just old. Some say it's a door to a hidden world. A sleeping king waits there. Experts once called this just a story, but new finds tell us more. They found shells with holes and signs of rituals. People used this place for thousands of years. Did this inspire the legend of King Arthur? This cave may have sparked ideas for C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. The stone table in the story might come from Arthur's stone, a big rock nearby, or the cave's shapes. Old myths can shape new tales. In the 2020s, scientists came back with new tools. They found old art made with red paint. They studied it with new tech. The images showed shapes like people. This hints at rituals. They also found old beads made from shells and bones of mammoths and deer. The cave was loved and reused for thousands of years. One expert said, "This wasn't just a home, it was a sacred place." The art is like other old works but unique. It makes this cave special. It ties the Ice Age to the time of legendary kings. The legend says King Arthur sleeps here with his knights. Magic keeps them safe. Beyond the cave's walls, traces of old ceremonies keep the mystery alive. And nearby, another mystery stands: Arthur's Stone. Arthur's Stone. Arthur's Stone is a quiet giant in England. It's over 5,000 years old.
British legends, King Arthur. The slate was found at Tintagel, his reputed birthplace. On it is a Latin inscription bearing his name, proof, according to some, that King Arthur really did exist.
Picture a huge rock, 25 tons, sitting on smaller stones. People say King Arthur touched it, turning a tiny stone into a big one. Others think he fought a giant here, leaving marks on the rock. But is this true or just a story? Under the stone is an old burial place. For years, its story was a mystery. Experts thought it was like other old sites in Wales. But from 2022 to 2025, a team from the University of Manchester dug deeper. They found the site had two parts. First, it was a long mound with wood posts, maybe for funerals. Later, it became a bigger place for people to gather, eat, or hold ceremonies. This change shows how its purpose grew over time, from a grave to a shared space. In 2023, they found burnt bones. Were they from leaders, ancestors, or rituals? A student found small bone pieces in a stone box. This was a surprise. Arthur's Stone wasn't just a tomb. It was a place that linked the living and the dead. Professor Julian Thomas said, "This was a gathering place that became a tomb. Over time, wood turned to stone, and the land was changed. Each group left its mark, shaping the monument we see today." The tales of King Arthur might not be just stories. The site's ancient feel may have inspired them. Then, in 2023, a small find nearby changed everything again. The Dorstone Discovery. In 2023, the quiet village of Dorstone near Arthur's Stone made big news. A team dug through old soil. Student Maddie Hudson found something amazing: a small stone box with burned bones. The find was exciting but confusing. At first, it seemed like a Stone Age burial, but as they dug deeper, things got more puzzling. Some say these stone boxes are tied to old Celtic rituals. Stories even talk about a gateway to the Sleeper's Cave, linking the tomb to a hidden world from Arthurian tales. Archaeologist Nick Overton said, "This might be from the Stone Age, but why here? Why now?" The area was used for many years, not just for burials, but maybe for ceremonies too. Were the bones placed there for a reason? Or moved from an older site as people changed their sacred lands? The find sparked wild ideas. If the bones are from the time of King Arthur, 5th or 6th century, they could be proof of a real warrior who inspired the legend. Others think the bones are much older, from the Bronze Age. Local tales added mystery. Stories say opening graves near Arthur's stone disturbs the nights. In the 1800s, farmers who found burial boxes saw ghostly hunts and heard strange sounds at night. For mystery lovers, the mix of real finds and spooky stories was thrilling. The team stayed focused. They carefully collected each piece for tests. They also found bits of pottery and tools, showing this site was special. It wasn't just a random burial, but a planned act. Maybe for rest, maybe for hiding. In the end, science will tell the truth. DNA and other tests may show if these bones belonged to a forgotten king. How this cave holds the key. Dorstone's cyst and Arthur's stone are close. They share more than space. They are tied by stories. Tales of hidden doors to Arthur's world are told in villages. These doors appear under special skies. Stories speak of guardians. They are like ghostly hounds. They watch over the sleeping king. For years, people saw these as just spooky tales. Now, archaeology shows patterns in old sites. There is rock art, stone graves, and big rocks. These might have been gates. They could link our world to a magical one. This idea is key in Celtic myths. In 2024, researchers used new tech. They found red paintings in King Arthur's cave. These marks were faint. They were unseen by the eye. They looked like ancient symbols from long ago. Some think these marks were warnings. Others think they were invites. They could be guardians. They might be human shapes or symbols of protection. Old shells were found there. This hints that people visited for centuries. They might have come for rituals or pilgrimages. Each generation left its mark. This tied the site to Arthur's timeless story. Researchers matched the cave's features to local myths. They found surprising links. Vanishing paths in stories matched real cracks in the cave. Tests showed that sounds like a horn echoed deeply. This might have scared ancient visitors. They might have thought they woke ghostly guards. This place was perfect for legends. It had a dramatic cave with twisting paths. It had a long history and deep spiritual meaning. Over time, real events became part of Arthur's story. These events included burials and shrines. Now, bones were found at Dorstone. They might belong to a 5th or 6th century leader. Could memories of a strong warrior mix with old burial traditions? Could this create the Arthur legend? Or is it just chance? In a twist, science might soon answer this. DNA tests could show if an Arthurian leader was really there. DNA revelation. In 2025, the lab was silent. Experts worked hard on old bones from Dorstone. They hoped to learn about a strong leader from long ago. If they did, it could change how we see history. King Arthur's tale is famous. But is it true? There's little proof. Most stories were written long after he might have lived. Finding a leader from the 5th or 6th century could help us know the truth. The bones were kept well. A lab worker said the fire saved the collagen. This helps us study DNA. Collagen tells us about food and travel. DNA shows family roots and where someone came from. Other finds, like Glastonbury's giant skeleton, are doubted. But these bones were found with care. Modern tools tracked each step. If tests show they're from the 5th century, it's big news. If they're from southern or western Britain, even better. But we must be careful. The bones might be older, from the Stone Age, or they could be from a later time, like a medieval traveler. Still, the team feels hope. One archaeologist said, "We're where myth meets science. If this is a leader from Arthur's time, it could match his story. If not, we'll keep digging." Scientists now talk more about King Arthur. They don't say they've found him, but they might have found someone like him, a person who inspired the legend. For years, Arthur's story was loved by many, but doubted by experts. Now, new tools might bring answers. That's why the world watches Dorstone. What if the tests show a strong person from the 5th or 6th century, someone with Celtic roots who lived when Britain was changing? This could prove Arthur was real, not just a story. The world waits. If the DNA says yes, the legend becomes real. If not, the mystery goes on. The Shadow of Avalon. We love King Arthur's tale. It's not just about knights and quests, it's about hope. We dream of a hero who saves us when times are tough. Myths aren't just facts, they show our dreams and fears. That's why people believe Arthur sleeps in a cave. They think he'll come back when we need him most. But myths leave us with questions. Science helps here. Tools like DNA tests and carbon dating are now part of the search. Bones from doorstone and cave paintings add clues. Glastonbury finds do too. Still, the full story may never be clear. In 2025, DNA tests at Doorstone might tell us if Arthur was real or just a tale. But even if the results don't match, the mystery won't end. Maybe Arthur is in another cave. Or maybe he was never one person. He could be a mix of many leaders from long ago. The search for Arthur feels like chasing a dream. Each step brings new clues but also new questions. For experts, this hunt shows how stories can inspire real science. For visitors, it's magical. Walking through caves or standing by Arthur's stone, you can feel the past come alive. It's like stepping into a world where history and myth blend together. Arthur's story isn't just in books, it's in the land, the tombs, the caves, the quiet fields at sunrise. When we look closely, we find a tale that has inspired us for over 1,000 years. Science may one day solve the mystery, but even then, the legend will live on in the soil, the caves, and our hearts. Will we ever find Arthur, or will he stay just out of reach? What do you think? Please let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.